is better. Praying all the time, wishing time would fly by. Felt like it was taking all day. Can't deny it was worth the wait. Better late than never, never late is better. Praying all the time, wishing time would fly by. Felt like it was taking all day. Can't deny it was worth the wait.
What's up, y'all? I'm JimDre Westbrook, aka Worth the Wait Guy, and today marks the 3rd episode for my Worth the Wait Guy podcast. Today's guest is Miss Tasha Robinson White. She's a family friend of mine, and she is an outstanding woman. She's a mother, she's a wife, she's a businesswoman, and she's also an entrepreneur. She hails from the state of Michigan, just like myself, and we sit down and talk with her with a lot of different topics. She used to work for LaFace Records. She also used to work for Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. right here in Las Vegas, and now she's an accomplished author. So sit back, relax, and let's get to know Tasha a little more. So Tasha, you've done a lot in your life, and a lot of your roots start in Atlanta. Back in the day in Atlanta, you've done a lot of stuff with LaFace Records. So right before they blew up, you were there with Jermaine Dupri, Outkast, TLC. You saw that whole thing from the beginning to, them going and becoming stars. So my question to you, what was that whole experience like, being there, seeing them before they were superstars, getting to know the actual people, like who they were as a person versus what we see on today on TV?
Just like you. Actually, they were just like the average person. They were driven. They believed in themselves. They were creative, and they were working very hard. And it was rewarding to be around that, especially when I see how successful so many of the artists have become. And it was a great experience seeing, in the Atlanta scene, seeing how it really goes down, from beginning to, I won't even say end, because a lot of their careers are still, growing. However, I was able to see when they weren't driving the Mercedes and they weren't wearing all the flashy clothes, and it was long nights in the studio and rehearsal halls, and and then also the teams that were working behind them. That was really major. And fortunately, I was able to intern and work at LaFace Records, and a lot of people know the TLCs, the Ushers, and the Outkast, but it took a mighty team behind them to really get them going. And there was the Chelsea Grays, the Shanti Dawes, the Tashawn Makins, the late great, Devette Singletary, Sherry Hughley. I mean, there was a lot of major people that worked behind the scenes, and I fortunately was able to work closely and, absorb a lot of the education that they shared with me, which helped me today.
Yeah, it's I think a great experience to, like you said, be around people that and enjoying their success together. It's something that you can be proud of being part of. And
Absolutely.
It's not necessarily just you cheering them on and not feeling, part of it. Everyone has a role, and even within other people's success, such as the book that we're going to dive into. I feel like, I loved everything that you've done with that book, because I remember you talking about it and saying, I'm working on this project, and then before you know it, you're doing the Tom Joyner Morning Show and you're doing your book tour. So, I think it's really cool seeing people that we care about, people that we know, we actually know that person individually, carry on and be successful.
Absolutely.
So, I definitely agree with you. So, you mentioned your book, and with your book, for those who don't know, you wrote a book called Right Hand to the Champ. And a lot of people with that book thought that the book would be very different. And when I say different, they thought that that book would be a tell-all book about Floyd Money Mayweather. For those who don't know, Tasha has worked with Floyd before in the past, and I think people really wanted you to call him out. I think they really wanted that book to be a tell-all book where maybe you would air out all of his dirty laundry, you would be negative like a lot of people have been in the past, about his past, but you weren't. I think that you were the total opposite of that. So my question to you is, what was the main purpose behind that book, and why did you remain so loyal to Floyd?
Well, first of all, a lot of people get the title, they stop at Right Hand to the Champ. The title of the book is Right Hand to the Champ, 13 Lessons That Changed My Life. Okay. The book is a personal memoir. It was never set up to be a tell-all or known as a tell-all. The book pivots a lot of my time working with Floyd Mayweather. However, I talk about a lot of challenges that I endured during that time. He just happens to be the person that I was working for. There are some flattering things in the book. There are some unflattering things in the book. But there are some lessons in the book. And the lessons were lessons that I learned, and there were 3 reasons why I really wrote the book.
Okay.
One, I wanted to reach out to young women. I wanted them to understand. I gave a transparent story. I let them see what it really was like for me. And 2, I wanted to set the record straight as to why I don't work with Floyd Mayweather anymore. There's no love loss. I don't hate him. I'm not bitter. I'm better, right. From the experiences that I had. I mean, no one can take away what's on my resume. You know what I'm saying? I worked for Floyd Mayweather. Yeah. I did several things with Floyd Mayweather. I put in time over there, and he's who he is. And, third, it was therapy for me. I went through a lot. I lost my brother. I lost my dad. There were some marital issues for me. I had some internal struggles, and I share those, and that's why it's my personal memoir. It's not a tell-all, and it cracks me up when I hear, and I see all these different headlines and stuff. That's not the type of person I am. Right. If you want to tell all, it's not coming from Tasha Robinson, right?
I think it's very important for the viewers out there and for everyone to understand, that you weren't TMZ. Like, you weren't trying to be something that you were not. So, it's very commendable of you to, stick to your guns and to be unafraid and to not really care what anyone else thought or what anyone else figured what that book should be about. So I appreciate that for you, and I'm glad that the book has been very successful for you.
Thank you.
You brought up a few things I'd like to talk about next in terms of family and in terms of the young women. I know that both of us, we share a lot of history. Right. We're both from Michigan.
Saginaw.
Nasty.
Sag Nasty represent.
And, we both have love for our fathers.
Absolutely.
My dad, I talk about my dad all the time in my blog. I talk about my entire family, but I talk about my pops a lot. And I know that your pops, Larry, Rob, they were both very tight. They were best friends.
Absolutely.
And I know that with us, like I said, we love our dads. And
absolutely.
For you, I know that, like you just talked about, that he's not here with us anymore. But if, the cool cat he was, and I'm sure he still is up in heaven, if he, Mr. Larry Rob was with us right now, what would that conversation be like? What would you want to tell him? I know that he knows everything that's going on with you in your life, but, what would that conversation be like if you could just have a few moments with him right now?
Well, I love you. I miss you. I understand that your time, your expiration date was when it was. I understand what, God's purpose was for you while you were here, and I'm a product of that purpose, and, I'm your daughter. I'm resilient. I'm tenacious. You know that. You instill those things in me. And, I still hear your voice daily. The things that you've taught me in the past, I hold on to them. I still smell you. I still feel you. And I know you're here. I know you see what's going on. So I miss you, Daddy, but I understand God has a bigger plan for you.
I'm sure that all those lovely words that you just said, he heard. And I know that he's smiling down on you, and he's going to protect you. I think he's helped guide your life and your current success. And, we miss you, so I definitely wanted to, give a shout out to Mr. Robinson. And I wanted to move the conversation now to the young women. You talked about young women and those were part of your lessons in your book. So with you having, the experience in music and entertainment, what are some words or some advice that you could give to the young women out there who want to chase their dreams like you did, who want to make things happen, but may not know how to go down that path the right way? Do you have any, life lessons or any, little nuggets that you can give them that might make that road a little easier for them?
Well, first of all, put your creator first. That will give you your foundation. That is your foundation. So there's nothing in this world you can do without that. So, make sure your creator's first. Know yourself. Love yourself. Build your network. Be aware of your network. And make sure it's a valuable network. Keep your friends and your family, your true friends and family, close to you, because it's really important. You need to know who your home team is. You get out in this industry and everyone that you meet is not your friend.
Right.
Everyone, some people maybe just around you for a season. So be aware of those people. But again, keep your creator first. That's most important, because when you're on that journey, he's got to be there. He is there. He created you. He created the journey. He created the adversary and the prosperity. So do not lose sight of that. And just continue to have your faith.
No, I like that. Definitely putting your creative first, and then also knowing yourself. That's something that I talk about a lot on my blog, a lot to the people who are interested in my journey, is that in order, to do anything, I feel that you have to know yourself first. You don't have to know everything, but you should at least know yourself, know who you are, know who you aren't, and where you're trying to go. So I like that aspect, and also your family. So when you talk about family, and with you being a very busy woman, you have a lot on your plate. You have a lot of good things going on. Can you talk about how do you manage that balance of family life? What has been maybe some of the struggles with being married and having kids? Like, I'm sure, because I don't know any of that stuff yet. That's kind of why I'm still on my journey, and one day would love to know those struggles. However, I don't know them yet. Tell me a little more about, what is that like? Like, how do you try to make all of that work?
Well, it's not always easy. It hasn't always been easy. However, being an entrepreneur, you don't really have a schedule, so to speak. When the phone rings, when you got to answer emails, you got to be available. You're working for yourself. However, you have to structure time management in your life, especially when you have children. I've been through it where I missed cheerleading competitions, or I missed football games, and I could kick myself in the behind for missing those opportunities to see my children succeed in their crafts. However, I was out making money. Definitely time management. There were challenges. My husband was in the entertainment business as well, prior to me entering the business. So we had a lot of, give and take, kind of went through some things. However, we bounced back, we maintained, and again, we had our creator in our life. You know what I'm saying? That's our common ground. That's what, my family is built on, and I think that helps, and just having real people around you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Having real people around you.
No, that's awesome. I can only go back to my parents and kind of how they raised me and my sister.
Right.
And I know it is a challenge. They both had full-time jobs. My dad had multiple jobs, and just trying to keep everything together within their relationship, but then also raising us. So, I commend people like you and your husband and my parents, because I know that job is not easy. But like you said, it doesn't matter how many jobs you have in life. That's the most important job.
Absolutely.
So, that's definitely something that when God blesses me with my better half, can't wait to do. But I know it's not going to be easy. But that's special.
Absolutely.
So the interview's almost over,
Okay.
but I kind of wanted to lighten the mood just a bit and ask you only 3 more questions.
Okay.
So we'll get a little personal, a little comedy into it. I'm a big movie guy. Like, I love movies. So that's all we did. Like, back home in Saginaw, my dad would always watch movies. I mean, we saw 5 Heartbeats like a million times.
Right.
But I'd like to know, what are some of your favorite movies of all time? Like, I'm sure there are a lot, but if you could think of maybe 3 movies that you love that you could probably watch every single day if you had the time.
Love Jones.
Okay.
Set It Off.
Mm-hmm.
And Brown Sugar.
All right.
I like Grease too. I'm a Grease 1 and 2 fan. You know, I love musicals, and I think, you know, I could sing along with any musical. However, I liked 5 Heartbeats. You know, Nothing But Love, Baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed that.
Eddie Kane Jr.
Eddie Kane. You know, I enjoyed Life. You know.
No, Life is a slept-on Eddie Murphy movie. I must say, a lot of people like Life. Okay, so 2 more questions. The next question would be, your brother, Lo, has a soul food restaurant.
Yes,
Soul Food Cafe.
Yeah.
And great soul food. So if you're in Vegas and you haven't been to Soul Food Cafe, you need to check that out. So we grew up on soul food. Don't eat it as much, you know, because of the health factors. However, there's always, you know, holidays. There's Thanksgiving, there's Christmas. And I just want to know, what are your favorite soul food dishes? Something that you may have eaten in the past, or something maybe that you like to eat during the holiday?
Fried green tomatoes. Love them. Love them. That's one thing my daddy used to make me all the time. So I probably will never taste them like he made them. But fried green tomatoes.
Okay.
And greens and cornbread. Nobody makes it like my grandmother, Lutie Mae Robinson in Saginaw, Michigan. She can throw down on some greens and some cornbread. I can eat that by itself. I don't need anything else.
Yeah.
So definitely greens and cornbread and fried green tomatoes.
Yeah, I think for me, it's probably macaroni and cheese, and then dressing. Not stuffing, but dressing.
But there is a difference, people. Dressing is different from stuffing. Okay?
It really is. And you know, I can eat a whole pan of dressing.
Okay.
You know, like that's, I'm kind of like you when it comes to your dishes. Like, I don't even have I don't need the meat. I don't need
Do
any
you put
of that.
gravy on it, or do you put cranberry sauce?
You gotta throw a little gravy. Like,
Okay.
I'm not, you know, I really don't rock with the cranberry sauce, but definitely you throw some gravy on that, and it's on point.
Gotcha.
Cool. So I think the last question, we're going to end on a sports question, and since it is fight weekend here in Vegas, I think it's only right to ask, what do you think, who you got in terms of Floyd's last fight? You know, they say that this is his last fight. If he wins, he'll be 49-0. The 50-0 record is still out there. Some people think this is just a ploy for him to go away like Jordan did and then come back and then get the 50, and also he can beat Rocky Marciano's record. But we're not even going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this weekend. Who do you think will win the fight? Floyd, Mayweather, or Andre Berto?
Absolutely. Floyd, hands down. Okay? I've always had Floyd. All 48, 49 fights. If he do 55 fights, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to have him because he knows his game. Mm-hmm. You know, he knows this. He outthinks the boxer before they get in the ring. Yep. You know, like you said, he plays chess, mm-hmm. whereas his opponents are playing checkers. They can't, they're fighting their idol, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He's fighting fans. Yeah. So he already steals their heart way before they get in the ring. So definitely Floyd Mayweather, September 12th, 49-0. I see it.
I agree. I think Berto is actually going to give him a better fight than most people think. I'm not saying it's going to, you know, go the whole 12 rounds, but I think he has nothing to lose. Right. So I think, you know, out of all of Floyd's recent opponents, like my man has nothing to lose. So I think I would not be shocked if he touches Floyd a couple times. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you. I think what Floyd's done in his whole entire career, where he's at right now, I just don't see anyone out there being able to beat him at his fight. Absolutely. Not saying that he's the best fighter in the world or the best fighter ever. It's very hard to beat him at his fight. So I just feel the way he fights, he's cracked the Da Vinci Code. And I think, it's just the way it is. So I agree. I think he will be 49-0, and we'll see if he fades to black or if he's just setting us all up for the comeback.
He fights his, no one trains like Floyd.
Oh no.
You say no one boxes like Floyd. No one trains like Floyd,
Mm-hmm.
and that's part of it.
Yep.
I mean, the boy is relentless. I witnessed it firsthand,
Yeah.
and nobody trains like Floyd. I mean, I've even tried to run with him. He's that dude.
Mm-hmm.
So
No,
he
definitely he's mastered the mindset of how to win. It's almost like chess, not checkers. He's always 10 steps ahead of all of his opponents. So I like the comment of saying he's still in their hearts before they even get in there. So they're already done by the time they go into that ring, because like you said, it's being caught like a deer in headlights. Like, I'm actually fighting someone that I look up to, someone that is actually affording me an opportunity to provide for my family. Like, I'm set for life type thing. So he's already got him, before he even,
he goes for the mental first. He beats him up mentally first.
Yeah, definitely. So that's all that we have for today. Once again, I'd like to thank Tasha Robertson White for allowing us to film this podcast here at her lovely home and spending time with you, and being such a great guest on today. It's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to see what's next and up and coming in your life. So once again, thank you for your time. I'd like to thank you for tuning in to the Worth the Wait Guy podcast featuring Tasha Robinson White. I had a blast speaking with Tasha about our Michigan roots and finding out what's next in store for her. For my next podcast guest, I give you Mr. Marcus Dupree. He's a very talented brother, one of my best friends from Saginaw, Michigan since the 4th grade. He's an actor, writer, producer, and director living in Los Angeles, California. To tune in to that episode and more, please check out worththewaitguy.com. And if you're not following us on social media, follow us at Worth the Wait Guy. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Until next time, God bless and live at your own pace.
Get fly, fly. Stay fly, fly. I'm higher than most. Splash. Made a commitment